And we have some breaking news that is coming in as we speak. The Supreme Court of India has now delivered the verdict on the convict's petition for the review of his death sentence. The plea has been rejected, a review plea for the convict. One of the 4 convicts has been sentenced to death for the 2012 gang rape, torture and killing of a young medical student who came to be known as Nirbhaya. Questioned the woman's dying declaration and argued in the Supreme Court that he deserved mercy. He also argued that the pressure to implicate him had been overlooked and there had been inefficiency to catch the real perpetrators. That's the story that's breaking here as we speak. The Supreme Court of India has delivered an important verdict, and this is to do with the 2012 gang rape and murder Nirbhaya case. Supreme Court delivering the verdict of the convicts. One of the 4 convicts' petition for the review of his death sentence, and the convict's plea for a review of the death sentence has been rejected by the Supreme Court of India. The review plea of the convict has been rejected. One of the 4 convicts has been sentenced to death for the 2012 gang rape, torture and killing of the young medical student who came to be known as Nirbhaya. Now, this convict questioned the woman's dying declaration and argued in the Supreme Court that he deserved mercy. He also argued that, quote-unquote, pressure to implicate him had been overlooked and that there had been inefficiency to catch the real perpetrators. That's the latest that's breaking on the 2012 Nirbhaya gang rape, torture and murder case. The plea of a convict to review his death sentence has been rejected, which means that all the 4 convicts will continue to remain on the death sentence. And we continue to track the story with our political editor Kartikeya Sharma now joining us on the phone. And Kartikeya,
it just clears the way for the final punishment of the all 4 rapists in this case, which has been hanging for quite some time. That has become a political controversy in context of what happened post Telangana. People felt that our judicial system is so slow, works like a sloth, that justice delivered, which is so late, is almost akin to justice denied. But now with this order in place, now the government can take a call, though there will be a process in place, and the process is that the people will be given 15 days to complete their formalities, which is inheritance, property, settling of other legal issues. Once that is done, 4 of them can be hanged as by the process of law. But then I think the final and a definitive step has been taken by the court, on which the administrative part of the executive, which is the police, will start taking action.
Right, now the administrative part of it will need to start taking action. That's where the eventual end of the process. But Kartikeya, this case is something that the whole of India has felt extremely strong about. And this kind of a verdict from the Supreme Court of India, what kind of a message do you think it sends?
It's a very good question. It represents both success and failure of our judicial system. Success because, in the sense at least, the justice is being done. But the failure is that we are very slow when it comes to giving punishment, or when it comes to giving verdict, when it comes to heinous crimes. So when it comes to rape, when it comes to murder, when it comes to lynching, the process of law is so slow, so late, that, it is akin to justice denied. I think this has been the biggest failure, despite the fact that, there was a talk of fast-track courts. Piecemeal legislations have been done by state government. The example in this case is Jagan Mohan Reddy's government in Andhra Pradesh. But no such measure has been taken whereby pendency in cases of rape can be dealt with. So I think success, yes, because the justice will be done. But failure, it represents the larger problem of our judicial system in India, that it takes so much of time. It takes so much of time that the justice or the verdict does not come across as justice.
Kartikeya Sharma, our political editor, joining us on this big story that's breaking for all those who've just tuned into this broadcast. The Supreme Court has delivered its verdict on a review petition, the review plea filed by one of the 4 convicts on death row. And now all 4 of them will continue to be on death row because that review plea has been rejected. And Kartikeya, it is incredible because this system, our legal system, even allows for such a review plea to be filed, in which look at what is being quoted by this convict who has appealed for a review, a mercy possibly, of his death plea. He's saying that there's been a pressure to implicate him has been overlooked, and that inefficiency to catch the real perpetrators. And he's also talking about the testimony, and talking about how that testimony, how the woman's dying declaration can be even taken.
That's the strength of the Indian judicial system, that it gives legal amenities, legal venues to even those who are accused of very heinous crimes. That's the strength of a system. Unlike many South Asian neighbors, the judicial system is not strong, or wherever it is used by the powers of the day. But I would say that the weakness of the judicial system is, in terms of pendency, the weakness of the system is that it takes so much of time. The weakness of the system is that we have not been able to reform one of the most important pillars of democracy, which is the arm of justice. So yes, it is a day of success in the sense that it will be a sense of relief, and because there is always a difference between justice and revenge, and the judicial system rests on the principle of justice, but the justice has to be in a time-bound manner, and that is where we fail. So Nirbhaya, today I can say, I covered the protest in Delhi when that gruesome incident took place, that it evoked a lot of outrage, but fundamentally it failed to alter the system. So yes, the case is coming to a closure, but it has not structurally impacted or reformed the system, which ails the Indian judicial system, which is continuous pendency.
That's right. Karthikeya Sharma, political editor. And Karthikeya, we're talking about this at a time when you have the Hyderabad gang rape and murder case, and you saw what was the result of that. But for now, in the 2012 Nirbhaya gang rape and murder case, the review plea for the death sentence has been rejected by the Supreme Court of India. And with that, we've completely run out of time here on this edition of the news.